They didn't realize that. Nam Thuong glass fire and ginkgo. It's changed the terrain here. They're like bright eye stars in the night sky. Only with the naked eye. The whole of Hanam. Everyone can see this scene. Hongdu, too, in the body of Zhu Ben walking in the city. It's also amazing. Look. The south is divided, and the Duke of Zhou is fighting. And there are people who are in deep trouble. Also realize that the absolute Kai of the great power in Trung Nguyen are being swayed once again. In a courtroom, two men in red coats. I'm also looking up at the sky. What's the dwarf asking? There's two disaster leaders fighting in the east. One of them could be one of the four. Uncle Chu Sao is not that he is in Hadong. To guard the Sanmin Quan or Sao. It must be because the queen of the cave has gone to war. But even the truth doesn't make him show up. But this time again. It looks like the AI is up to something mysterious. The curtain is interesting. If not, the queen. There was no need to reveal yourself so soon. There's a ghost in the millions right now. There is also fresh blood in the corners of the eyes. Inside the forest, the devil is in one place. Look at the opposite mountain. The ground tilts and the temperature rises rapidly. The devil can feel all of that. He knows the queen is facing a very strong warrior. On the opposite mountain, for the octopus. This is a really bad point. Is the queen facing the four statues? Sent by the court. It could be something else, but whatever it is, the queen has also revealed his level of self to the point of disaster. Next Ginkgo cave, will have to confront the imperial forces directly. Maybe, the queen will have to change her eyes with two of the four at the same time. No seconds, 05 seconds. That's the number of times Taurus wondered whether the cave has come to an end. The devil 01 hesitated and turned his head away. He made a smart decision. It's about leaving the east and finding a place to hide. To protect yourself. He doesn't look like a three-eyed crow. I have no regrets about giving up the ginkgo. Like strong and wise monsters. The devil's bull joins the octopus cave for a simple reason. The queen can protect him. Escape from the pursuit of the imperial dynasty. And the fisherman decided not to pursue the 10 virtues anymore. I shouldn't waste time with one. He didn't even dare to face Ra directly. That's what the devil thinks. As soon as the devil left, the city immediately reported to 10 goodness. 10 is a little confusing to ask. How to make your own guess. Maybe the battle in the mountain revealed the truth. That the queen's power was at catastrophic levels. And the imperial court can't ignore this. It's just sooner or later. This is the queen. Will be surrounded, isolated, and destroyed. Unless she can take down that master sooner. And leave the east and live in hiding somewhere. Based on that fact, it is extremely wise for the devil to choose to leave. 10 good listening to that to breathe a sigh of relief. Now, the city continues to speak. You can't rest yet. The direction the devil is going is the same as last time. 10 good to hear that is startled. Then he immediately embodied chasing the devil Niu. The devil also sensed that something was chasing him. It turns its head and glances behind. 10 good things have appeared on the other side. Aim straight at the back of the head. Because of the class difference, with the back of the fisherman's skin is very thick. That's 10 good things. It doesn't do much damage to it. Your hand is injured on the contrary. It hurts so much that I want to throw it away. The devil looks at you. You are the one hiding in the dark. Mess with us. I didn't expect that, but a boy. He looked at the 10-year-old man anxiously. This guy is much stronger than you. Use the power of the seed of hell. 10 good. Listening to its psychological manipulation is anger. Shut up. While you curse the city, the devil looks at you laughing. You know, I like killing kids best. 10. Hearing that, the face became tense. If you see that, continue to seduce. Fight with a much stronger man, compared to your current state right now. It's no different than finding yourself dead. If you want to win, you have to use that power. The 10-year-old is still watching it scream. Don't fool me. I won't use it anymore. The monster in front saw you scold the air. It's extremely confusing. Is his will to kill me broken? It's boring. 10 views Taurus monster, in the heart extremely tense. Fuck not. Master, always have to fight monsters of this level. It's not about having the courage to fight. Or not. I can't even stand right now. 10 good things to do. You can't be so useless. It is the 7 gods. The monster is in front of you, but it's heaven-like punch. And he missed it, turned his head back and glanced. I only see 10 good people. Extremely intense gas, standing on a tree trunk. Your eyes are now red. This is a sign of using power. Seeds of hell. If you see that, you have a little appreciation. In the moment between life and death, he made the decision to save himself. The next monster turned to face him. 10 good looks at the enemy for a moment. He suddenly spoke up. Oh, it's getting stronger. The air on you never ceases to shine. I'm going to kill you, laughing furiously. Killing you. The fool laughed when he heard your words. Even if it's just a child. The weapon it reveals. It could be a big monster. It's really interesting. The next 10 winners led the way. He shrugged and disappeared on the spot. Use extremely fast speed to hit directly at the Taurus. The devil doesn't shy away. It's standing in a position of power. This time the player, it seems that the 10 virtues have a little bit of an upper hand. In your mouth, there's still a piece of cougar meat. The devil didn't notice at first. But then very quickly, I recognized it on my face. Lost an hour of meat. Fong Duo. Looking at the top 10 right now, I have a little bit of a feeling. The power of hell has invaded its ego. More than last time, the fear of death has caused its subconscious to seek a higher power. The devil also uses pity eyes to see 10 good. Maybe it's lost. The simplest rays of reason. What a poor kid. Just as they think. 10 good now. There's only one thought in my head. It's bite to death. He spat the meat in Ra's mouth again. Get ready to fight. Then they both disappeared in place. It's stupid to turn around and run away. But the speed of 10 is incredibly fast. After a few jumps, you caught up to the ox. Then without hesitation, a right to strike Ra. The reaction speed is also very fast. Immediately jump up to avoid that one right. The ugly face is no longer Thong Dong. On the contrary, it's extremely stressful. He looked at 10 people in front of him, even fighting in the forest. Can't close this gap in phase speed. This is a big problem. This side, the battle of the 2 catastrophic powers is still going on. Extremely stressful. Ben is still trying to get out of the fight. To approach the queen. A long time later, felt there was no way to approach her. In this way, he stood directly behind it. It turned into a fire. Fly straight up into the sky. The queen found his actions a little foolish. Stand there and look up. He's playing cards. A straight flight to the sky. Through the clouds it stops. Look at the red sun in front of you. He started to fall into the trap. If you know in advance, the Eastern Queen can evolve to catastrophic levels. I have brought 2 of those with me. Even if it is too late to regret it. You have to use that trick. The Emperor's side is now. A eunuch rushed in. Shout out to the leader of the bar. Please visit us. Very quickly, it was allowed to enter the hall. The Emperor looked down. Not waiting for him to report, I asked the person who confirmed it was the Lord. Save the glass bow nod. That's the king. The police department just sent us a report. He used the space door to get to the east. The Emperor was a little angry when he heard his report. Why did he dare to leave his position? Keep speaking up to explain. They say that martial artists have discovered the queen. She's the leader of the demons in the east. He is also the one who carries the spirit of the Lord. Rest assured that queen, they will be able to increase their power. That's why he acted on his own. The Emperor can hear the Lord. Then delay down. Then he hurriedly called out to my dragon. I want him to be there where the fight is. 2 hours later. I'm a little worried. Your Majesty, dragon, I just lost a few lives fighting demons in the Yellow Sea. It has not been restored, but the white tiger is still there. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by the Emperor. There is no time for white tiger. If Chu 7 goes to war without bringing his treasure, then he won't be able to hold on. Not until white tiger gets there. Looks like there's more than one disaster-level monster are hiding in Henan again. When you hear that, you are afraid. There is more than one disaster. It's impossible when we destroy the rational. The leaders of the stars have checked carefully and didn't see any trace of the second level of disaster. In the east, a pale emperor replied, "It's because we haven't sent the 4 statues out yet. The conspirators behind it. Because I don't know how much is our host force. They let us kill the enemy. By the power of the stars, I think they're back, patiently waiting for the next opportunity. However, they put all their eggs in one basket and practice raw for a second level of disaster. It's not hard to see their plot. If you hear that, ask again. They're plotting to destroy the SAO4. The Emperor did not answer, but ordered again. And now the Lord has fallen into their trap. Then we're also bleeding. Tell the dragon to carry the picture of heaven, Gypsy and 6 souls. Let him engage the enemy. Immediately obey the mountain's orders. Go out and arrange. Move the scene to the opening. Sky can radio. There are 2 people sitting here playing Go. The gray-shirted man said as he struck. They are standing in front of the enemy. We're not going to help him. The blue shirt replied confidently. Nam Fuong. Yen Leaf's glass has been refined to the upper limit. Disaster-level enemies can't beat him either. When you fight 1 against 1, the leader asked again, if there's another level of disaster, are hiding in the dark, then why? He would calmly respond if that were the case. You would have searched the whole world to find me. Now, someone outside is coming. Ask the guy sweeping the yard. Is Nin Trong here? The director pointed to the house. Master Nin and the boss are playing chess inside. I can hear someone outside coming. Then smile. Looks like we were right. Han also smiled and said nothing. Then you 2 get up and go out together. The one who comes is just in the palace. He looked at the man in front of him and asked him what he thought. Save the nod. That's right, Your Majesty wants you to arrive in 2 hours. My face is a little tense. You can't fight 2 enemies. not in 2 hours. Then he turned his head and looked at the owner. We can borrow the Temple of Heaven. The moon in the east, eh? Right now, above the clouds appeared a black sphere. Out of the sun. This is the bottom of the box. Yen Nam Fangli Fire Black Sun. The queen at the bottom. I realized there was something in the clouds. Her face is no longer Thong Dong. Instead, it's extremely stressful. The 2 eyes on the face appear dark. The black man is under his control. Slowly break the clouds down. The bottom. The queen also looked up at the sky. Very fast, a giant black sphere appeared before her eyes. The queen was surprised to see this. Open your mouth. In the mountains beside the Battle of the Ox. And 10 good things still happen extremely fierce. 10 virtuous take advantage of his agile body. That makes the ox have no way to fight back. You can't run away. They can only be defenseless. On him right now, there have been countless injuries caused by 10 good deeds. Damn, this kid is fast. I can only wait until it hits the hardest. To end in a flash. 10 good people who don't know their thoughts. Still eager to attack. This one trick, he aimed straight at the monster's chest. The trolls don't defend that place either. Let you fight. Wait until you hold your finger. 10 goodness hit deep into my chest. They quickly use 2 hands. Keep your hands and feet. He's got you. Go to hell now. On this side, the Kier has completely fallen. Follow it down. The surrounding area was immediately shaken violently. The trees are constantly being smashed. The wind is like a hurricane blowing in 4 directions. The beggar has gone to the next mountain. And still feel its aftershock. Hey, don't tell me he is. Before I could finish the sentence, the strong wind came. To the whole place, Chen Hung was killed so far away, also affected. The monster has now caught 10 virtues held up high. He's planning a move on the boy. But not in time to launch. It was also hit by the power of Kier. Make yourself wobbly. That's why 10 good people get out. Black Japanese hit down. It creates a hole deep in the ground. Stay quiet after using this technique. The air in the body is completely exhausted. Sitting on the crater breathing like death. In front of him. Right now, I don't see the queen riding a barge anymore. I just saw a giant snake skeleton lying there. He stood up laughing. Haha, finally back to the dust. How long has it been? Under the ground, once again, there's a spike. Not having time to react, he was punched by the white bone. Life is once again dying. His eyes widened looking ahead. I just saw the place behind a skull that suddenly goes up and shakes. The next shake was countless white bones rising from the ground. Very fast, the queen's body appeared before his eyes again. It's incredibly quiet, screaming impossible. How can you stand my dark son? The queen is not perfect. It's not affected. She's now transformed into the figure of a 10-year-old. She's 45 years old, and she's angry at the Kier people. You are so dangerous. If we don't prepare our body for protection. He must be dead by now. I realized something, scared to ask. Does anyone know my magic trick? In the mountains next door, the beggar slowly came out of the dust. They even use forbidden arts. There is no human pity at all. All life within 20 miles of here. They were all burned down by the last trick. All of a sudden, he sort of realized something. Turn your head to the side. I only saw Tran Hung's body, and he's been blowing up close to him ever since. On the other side of the Taurus and 10 goodness right now. Also suffered aftershocks for fainting in place. A moment later, the monster woke up. When I woke up, I saw 10 good things. He was also lying unconscious nearby. He quickly stood up. Then go straight to 10. Without hesitation, put your feet up and down. 10 good. If you get hit by it, you're going to see your grandparents. But this one piece of Taurus and hit the ground. The monster looked at that and was afraid. 10 good. I woke up my whole body without any harm. Stand 3 feet away from it. The boy looked at it against his side and said, "Oh, I've forgotten this world. Why is it so warm and comfortable?" It's hard to understand who you are when you hear the boy. 10 good laughing. Who am I? I'm just a 7-year-old loser, and not worth mentioning. Turn the scene to hell. 10 good things are falling down from above. The monster's here. If you see that, you can also look up. Outside at this time, a scarecrow is coming down. 10 good in the hand. I don't know where the 2 big guns came from. You're using them to relentlessly attack the ox. Haha, take this. On the side of hell, your soul is still unconscious. He fell in front of the young man sitting in the middle of the lake. The young man looked at you for a moment, then raise your head and look up. In the distance, there are countless incense bodies where this place is going. I came for 10 good things. Young people saw them coming. Slowly stand up and pull out the school with you. Very quickly, an army of monsters appeared in his eyes. Outside, the beggar was sitting looking at Tran Hung's body. Heir to the mission of changing history. The next story is too small. There's going to be a lot of complexity. If the guard dies now, it's not okay. I have to do something. But hell has fallen. The Lord and the judges. I don't know where I am. I don't want to use my own power to reignite the fire of life. It's too much trouble for me to let this guy do that. After a moment of thought, he woke up. If he doesn't show it, it can be done. Move the scene towards the opening. The 2 Taoists and the Great Han are being exiled to the Lao land of the temple. The old man looked around and said that this is the prison of the bar. At the opening of the Han glanced at him, SAO7 Hope. The old man laughed. It's not that serious. Just as far as we know. This place can only hold Class A prisoners. The disaster level. He didn't finish his sentence in a prison cell. There is a sound coming out. It's that your perspective is too narrow. When the old man heard that, he stopped. Look at the person inside. Can you tell me if the Kier laughed? Labeling you is a bit too much. I just want to warn you about this. The reason we're here without fighting is that he still respects the opening face of the government. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by the Great Han. That's a lot of talk, Maze. East side a female now. He looked at the body in front of him. Is he dead? People are weak. If you consider him the standard. The white tiger dragon, it's just at that level. If so, I can be favorable. It's built a career in Liao City. Quiet in my head. At this time, the spirit of 7 is bleak. The 2 flames of life were also extinguished. But he still has 5 fires of life left. As the queen was pleased, he suddenly opened his eyes. At her feet, there immediately appeared a bright red ring. Connected to La Yen. Put your hands on her, Black Japanese. I can't kill you. And then there's his voice. 2 people appears inside a mental battle plan. This is the Southern Great Stream. It is also his prohibition. According to the show. Then there's a black storm. Not up. On this side, the beggar is holding a gong. Don't stop walking around Tran Hung. Just knock and call, you restless soul. I have not yet escaped from the world. according to the call and the sound of his gong. In Tran Hung's hands, a small insect slowly came out. And then it slowly shrinks until it's gone. Old beggar, in the process still constantly knock gong. Extend another 10 years, the soul will enter again. Follow this closing sentence. He also knocked a very powerful one. The white bones on Tran Hung's body also slowly receded. Until it's completely gone. He just smiled. Follow his voice. Tran Hung's pathogenic fire was extinguished. Suddenly lit up again. On the other side, a dragon flying through the 9 heavens. It is the beast of the sky. Sitting on his back were the 2 great Han and the old Taoist. He sat in front of me with a nervous expression. God willing, come in time on the 10 right now. You're still overwhelming the ox. With 2 of my own trees. The monster you used. Cho hit with almost no force. Complete continuous defeat mouth spray fresh blood. After running it for a while, then you stop for now. Calves take advantage of the shortness of breath. Keep your eyes on the opponent. I can't believe the guy. This kid gets stronger every time he changes his personality. This is due to the technique it practices. Or is he a martial arts genius? 10 good people stood there, staring at the ox. After a while you speak up. Are the buffalo heads finished? If not, take a break. The monster wiped away the blood from his mouth and answered firmly. No need to whisper in your head. Even if it doesn't matter. Don't think too much, just fight first. This kid's power must be a minus and B+. Overall, it's more than me. You have to sacrifice something to win it. 10 when he answered, he laughed furiously. The air on the ground broke out again. You said it yourself. While it's on the other side. Tran Hung is now awake. I saw the beggar with the queen. Standing next to, he was startled. I see he wants to move. He quickly reached out his hand to stop him. Wait, we need to talk. Chen looked at him coldly. We have nothing to say. Especially with a queen like you. The beggar laughed. Even if I saved you. Tran Hung heard that and was quiet. The movement also comes down. The beggar then sat down in his place. You say I am the queen's servant. It's not really wrong. But we have our own concerns. Chen Sheng was surprised to hear him. Own concern, SAO. Yes, I think you have also realized that. Something happened in the underworld. So, more and more monsters have emerged recently. It seems like hell. They have lost the balance between life and death. The 4 statues are still alive, and the court. We will soon be in control of the current situation. But in the next 25, can it be controlled anymore? Tran Hung heard him for a while. Come Theo, sit down. What are you really trying to say? What I want to say is, if you can't rely on Pluto anymore, so we just have to rely on ourselves. 10 good people are slowly waking up. Looking at the bodies of the monsters and the surroundings. You kind of recognize this place. I don't wait for you to think long. There are monster heads flying in front of you. In front of him is the young man who is still alive. Fight between 7 monsters. He's like a good general. Alone holding thousands of enemy troops, still no step back. And suddenly, he stuck his spear in the ground. Then he opened his mouth and screamed, 100 executioners. Follow this scream of his. Under the ground, there are countless sharp swords coming up. Stabbed into the monsters. Get rid of them. Slowly, he moved to the 10th. See that? The boy's eyes immediately grew extremely tense. You just stand there, waiting for him to come in front of me. The young man went to the rock. Sit down and go back to the old school. Then he looked up at you and asked, Who gave you the seeds of hell? I was a little surprised to hear him ask this question. I don't know how to respond for a while. The young man did not wait for him to speak. He didn't tell you. That will gradually take control of your body, Sao. 10 good, hearing that is extremely confused, shaking his head. The young man sighed. Stop cringing it up. If you don't want to be like the Kier, let's practice something different. Don't depend on the power of the seed of hell anymore. 10 Turn your head and look. The monsters are dying next door. Then he turned to look at the young man. They used to be people. The young man nodded. Right, these are the 7 losers who used the seeds of hell. After they die, they will be sent to the deepest level of hell, forever under painful torture. Who have a weak will to fight. You will become a slave of hell, like demons who are wronged, working forever in hell. Glory is not transcended. You who carry life like you are here, it will attract their attention. Your body is still alive on earth. That's the key to getting out of here. If you've been here too long without enough self-defense, you'll soon be eaten alive. 10 When he heard him, he nodded. I see. Thank you for saving my life. Young man, facial emotionless, shaking his head. Thank you, you don't need a hand. The next 10 people scratched their faces and asked, but it's okay to come back here. Young man leisurely replied, you can come back after the guy's done. The battle of the 10 good and the ox is still going on. The body is of 10 virtues, but the soul doesn't know who. In the hands of a monster right now, a weapon has appeared. Holding this thing in your hand makes it incredibly confident. Fortunately, we have this treasure. Whatever it is mine. He looked at what was in his hand and was surprised. That's the smiling Taurus. This is what the queen gave me. On the other side, the Black Mountain is dying. The queen can't see you again. Only the skull remains. The leaves are also out of breath, standing still. His 3rd flame of life was also extinguished. Look at the trick he just used. Is that the same opponent is congruent? The 4th flame of life is quickly activated. The eyes are open again. Look at the skull burning black on the ground. He's a little scared. Even the Great South Star. You can't burn it completely. It seems like she's prepared for everything. To deal with me. Slowly move back to the skull. In his hands, the sword that fought the frogs appeared again. He didn't say much, directly holding the sword towards the skull. The sword has just gone up. On his arm there were immediately white bones sticking out. Then his arm was cut off. Calm down in fear and immediately move back. Dare not continue to advance. Look at the scene ahead. His face became extremely tense. What the hell is going on? My hands are doing something. In his eyes, the skull flew again. His severed arm also slowly swelled up. Then the queen's body appeared again. I can't believe that. You killed me twice, without having to use the treasure. I was terrified. You can control the bones of living things. The queen looked at him laughing. Not control, but domination. I looked at her scared. It would be bad if the Queen of East Asia, that can control the bones of living things, without any conditions. Thinking of this, he immediately shook his head. I'm not sure that power has to be limited. Not to mention whether you can beat it or not. Now I don't even know if I can hold on until the Imperial reinforcements arrive or not. Don't you worry, you must calm down. You can't be mentally disturbed right now. You have 3 more chances, at least before death. You still have enough time. Discover the limits and weaknesses of the enemy. That meanwhile, the monster is in your hand. The army began to counterattack. Cut off that kid's head. When he finished, he raised his hand. The thing in his hand immediately rotated. Shoot out 10 good direction. Hit 2. 10 virtues to quickly implement body evasion. I've been avoiding and contemptuously telling this thing. A flying wheel. Finished talking, then he turned around and flew away. But suddenly, you just flew it. Then separate again. Let's make those two things stop in the air for a second. And then, again. Quickly turn around and chase you. 10 good people see it and keep chasing. It's a little surprising, and then definitely not running anymore. Turn around and get ready. If you see that, you laugh in vain. Blood not only clings, but it also splits when the VA touches it. The more you hit it, the more it splits apart. More than that, they keep chasing. Exactly as it says. 10 virtues just swayed to beat the blood wheel again. It immediately splits into 4. 10 good people now understand the problem. Pursuit and separation is just a nasty combination. But very quickly, the 4 blood wheels hit again. This time 10 people did not fight back, but used the body to avoid. He just ran and turned his head and glanced behind the aesthetic. Just as I thought. It won't separate if we don't fight back. With back and the speed of its pursuit isn't really that fast. There are too many weaknesses. If I dodge it just as it's about to cut them off, it will come out. When you think about it, you stop running. Wait until the blood wheel is about to cut. Your body flashed again. 10 good things just disappeared. An explosion immediately occurs. Just as I thought. To do so, it will stop clinging to Theo and destroy itself immediately. The monster in the distance saw it and was afraid to think. He recognized the weakness of the blood wheel. So fast. What kind of monster is this kid? 10 good after processing the test. He turned his head to look at the monster. Your body is weak, big man. It looks terrible, but actually. Not waiting for you to finish, the monster smiled and interrupted. You should take care of yourself first. I saw the look on his face 10 times. Behind, the blood wheel came out of the ground again. Then hit him at lightning speed. 10 goodness cannot escape. There's only one way to pick it up. You just touched it, you realized. The power of this has increased a lot. While you are struggling. 3 blood wheels in front of me. It's on the side. There's another wind coming. 10 goodness cannot escape. He was hit on the side. The boy immediately fell on the spot. The monster saw that it was captured. Then throw up the tree in your hand. Blood is pinning on you. The 10 virtues immediately flew out and returned into his hands. The devil is still a little scared. Fortunately, it was a mistake at the last minute. It couldn't have expected that. Beyond the ability to chase and separate, the blood wheel can restart itself. If it deliberately prolonged the battle very long, you may not have enough blood to stay active. Give blood wheel. It's almost me. Turns out what the ox said was the price. That it's using your own blood to stop the bleeding. The tree with the wheel of blood in its hand. It's a transporter that absorbs fresh blood. The monster then turned and left. There are 10 good things about you right now. Once again, there is a fire. It's much bigger than before. It was felt very quickly. Turn your head and look back. When I turned around, it became extremely scary. 2 big eyes. 10 good things right now that perfectly stand up. Behind it, there was also a blue Suano general. 10 goodness looking at the side wound in amazement, said Ra. The boy's body has amazing stamina. It was just a bit of a shock for a while. Then he looked up at the monster. Since seeing the Susanoo here, I was afraid there was no more strategy. I saw the enemy look over. It doesn't say 2 words right away.